How a secure man handles a woman pulling away. We've all been in that situation before. You're talking to a girl that you really like, things are going good, you're getting all excited thinking about the two of you guys together. You're probably even envisioning an entire future with this woman if you're getting really excited. Because I've been in that situation. And as you guys continue to talk more and more, at some point she starts to go cold on you. The good morning text stop flowing in as much, or she's just less enthusiastic about communicating with you or seeing you, or the way that she just talks around you, you could tell that she's starting to pull back, or maybe she just abruptly stops being available to hang out with you. Now, this can happen on date 1, date 2, date 3. This could happen even later on in dating when it comes to actually like avoidant attachment styles, avoidant and anxious attachment styles. So there's different subtleties and nuances I want to talk about in this video. That way, regardless of where you're at, you understand how to play the situation properly, because the way that I did it was wrong. I've done this wrong multiple times throughout my journey in my 20s and even in my 30s. I'm about to be 35 in a couple of months now. And so I learned these lessons the painful way, very painful way. And my goal with this video is to save you months or even years, in some cases, actual years of your life wasted, well, lost to a woman that got away. And that's a painful experience, to lose the one that got away that you were really excited about, okay? First thing I want you guys to understand is that a lot of you dudes think that the woman actually pulled back or lost interest, or she was kind of hot and cold on the very, very front end when you never even had that girl to begin with. You think that you had the girl, you never even really got the girl hooked. It's just you haven't been with a girl of that caliber before, or maybe you haven't been with that many women at all. So for you, it's a really big deal. Right? That's what it is. It's a really big deal. And she wasn't actually showing you that much. You just inflated this whole thing in your head because you're obsessively thinking about it more and more and more and more. And it was finally that one opportunity. And when you're really wanting something and it's finally there, obviously it's going to be a big deal. Or if it's the most attractive girl you've been with, obviously it's going to be a big deal. So we start to really inflate this thing. And I would say that's probably, ironically enough, that's the most common situation. Out of this whole video topic, the most common situation isn't even the actual video topic. It's the idea that dudes haven't been in the situation before, so it becomes this massive ordeal and the girl wasn't even that into you. You just inflated it. You kept thinking about it over and over again. You kept envisioning all the reasons why it could work. You envisioned that one moment where she showed you a little bit of interest, which doesn't mean that she even wants to fucking be with you. But you took that and ran with it. And then you start looking at her social media profile, and then you start taking images from there and just compiling this internal collage or masterpiece of you and the woman together. It becomes a really big deal. So now you're just really in your head about the whole thing, and it's hard to even act in a way that would really attract her, to bring her over the top to even want to be with you. Most guys that go through this experience something like that, because I've been through that multiple times too. Honestly, I have. As you go through it more and more and more, and as you keep working on yourself and leveling up higher and higher levels, you'll get to a point where you'll actually get with one of these girls that you really like, and you actually start to date more and more women. And once you've been through that loop over and over again, you don't go as deep into it because it's not your first rodeo, you know, so you don't get lost in the whole thing. You kind of bring yourself back to being grounded and centered. And maybe if you even lose women like that, you become more of a realist when it comes to dating new women over time. Because I've already gone through and made some painful mistakes, and I got way too carried away with this thing. So I know better now with the new women that I'm dating. All right. But let's go a little bit further into it. Now, let's say you've actually been dating the girl and then she starts pulling back or going cold. What would a secure man do in this kind of a situation? All right. The very first thing is when the girl actually pulls back, you don't chase. Don't chase. You cannot chase. And it doesn't matter if it's in the early dating stages or if you're actually dating an avoidant attachment style female, which essentially what that means is that they're very independent. They want to do a lot of things by themselves. And if they ever get triggered, they need space, a lot of space. That's why it's avoidant. They avoid situations, especially when triggered. I'm a dismissive avoidant at heart. I've put in a lot of work over the last year to not be as dismissive or as avoidant. I'm not saying by any means I'm fully healed and fully secure with my attachment style, but I'm very, very aware. And I have been putting in a lot of work into this when it comes to therapy and research and actually implementing it with my relationship with Doha. right? Because that's the only way you'll really heal this thing is through a relationship. You can't just study content at home and then it heals. You need to be put into the situation with a significant other that does trigger the internal traumas or attachment styles, and then you need to start to behave differently despite having that resistance around going with your impulsive emotional urges to be an avoidant or to be a dismissive avoidant, right? So whether it's on the front end or if you've been dating a girl long term and this girl actually is an avoidant, either way, you don't want to chase, because on the front end, you chasing, what that looks like is like double texting, triple texting, constantly reaching out, over pursuing, needing more reassurance, like all of those things. You understand that when she pulls back, you can't go there, because an avoidant or a girl that's already, whether she's of low interest or avoidant, the moment she pulls back and you go to here, she then just goes here. But you coming here already broke character. That's the problem, is that you guys were here and then she goes here. And then the moment you start going here, it's okay to securely come to like here, and I'll explain how to do that in just a couple minutes. But the moment you start going all the way here and then she goes back further, and now you're really in your head because you like the girl, and now you start going further and further, there's no coming back from that. Because the person with the avoidant attachment style, they actually just want the space, right? So like you going further doesn't give them the space. Like in my last relationship, when I got triggered and I pull away and I need space and I need to get away, the more that my girl would come to me more and more and more and want to resolve things on that spot, the more I get I'm like getting more trapped, right? Avoidants don't want to feel trapped. And it's very similar though to a girl that's just pulling away. It very, very similar, but for different reasons. When you're dating long term, you don't want to keep going because they actually need space and time to like want to come back to you, and that's when you guys can actually have a conversation about all of this stuff. But on the dating side of it, the moment you just keep reaching out, it's not about that. It's just you look weak and you break your character. And in my opinion, it also leads to resentment. Like if I have to keep reaching out to a girl over and over and over again, I don't actually feel weak, but I'm thinking like, okay, like the fact that you're not responding at the second time, third time, like I'm not going to keep reaching out. It's not because I'm in my head, oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, I need to get the girl back. I'm just like, okay, like if we can't even have like a healthy line of communication here, what the fuck are we doing here? In which case, like after the second message, maybe you want to send a third, but after that, like just, you got to drop it at that point. And that's what's different between me now and me earlier in my journey is I would take it all so personal. If the girl started pulling back, I would start to think, what am I doing wrong? Where did I go wrong? What was the tactics that was wrong? Was it something I said? I reenact the previous day. What happened? It was because of that. She didn't like me because of this. She didn't like me because of this, blah, 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 blah. Right? That's how I know I've actually made a true internal transformation, because I used to think it was so much about the tactics that I was doing, and it was because I wasn't good enough, or if I had done something slightly differently, I would have presented myself cooler and a more high value way that the girl would actually think I'm attractive. That's like, that was my brain. But I could tell you, like 6 months ago when I was in Miami, there was a girl I met, and we went on like a 45-minute Insta date. I stopped her on the street on like a Wednesday afternoon. We hung out for like almost an hour. And it was a great conversation. It was probably, in my opinion, top 2, top 3 most attractive girls I've seen in Miami. Right. And so I was naturally excited because I thought the girl was actually cool. We hung out for about an hour. We set up plans, we got her phone number, and then we started texting a little bit. I called her 2 days later. She didn't pick up. I sent a funny message that got a really lengthy, enthusiastic response, but she also didn't even acknowledge the fact that I called her, which is, personally, it's kind of annoying. Right. And I could say that the old me would just be like, again, looking at the tactics. But I'm noticing other elements, because when we hung out in person, she was talking about, oh, I don't really go, I hardly go out. I'm a grandma. I don't really like to do anything like that. But yeah, I'm down. She was talking about all these like cool activities that we could do, that she doesn't drink and blah, 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 blah. We have a little bit of back and forth dialogue, and then she's talking about when she's potentially free. And then on the day of hanging out, not the day of hanging out, the day before hanging out, I'm not blowing up her phone by any means. Like I keep my communication rather short, just with a couple voice messages. And then when it came time for us to hang out, I called her again, no response. And I didn't get a text back from her till the next day saying, like, again, not acknowledging, because the plans were very, very big because of her. And look, all of this is okay. I'm not saying that I played flawless game and that this girl is traumatized. I'm saying that like some women actually won't have that high of interest in you, and that's totally okay. You don't need to have this panic attack and beat yourself up and shit. Like what I did was like, okay, cool. She didn't answer. It's all good. I sent one message like the day after that saying, hey, you good? Never heard back. And then I just left it after that, guys. I just left after that. I'm not talking about what is the best tactics to send to the girl. That's a different video, man, honestly. And I'm not the type of guy that's gonna send a bunch of text messages, nor do I even want to study text game. Like I know what I bring to the table. I know how I ran the interaction. I know enough about all of this stuff that is at a high enough caliber that I don't need to study crazy texting tactics and all that shit. I'm just not at that point in my life right now. So if I meet a girl and it's going well and I have a good interaction with her, I'm down to hang out with her, but I'm secure in what I have and what I bring to the table. And if we're continue dating and the girl starts pulling back, you're not going to start going over the top chasing and pursuing. The one thing I would say you could do is like, you can initiate conversation from a secure place, right? And if the girl doesn't respond back, it's all good. You want to give it one more time after that, a couple days later? Do it. If there's no response to that, we're done talking here. Why? Because I already called you 2 days ago. I sent you the text and I sent you a follow-up 2 days later. What the fuck else do we have to talk about other than you saw the message, you saw the phone call, you didn't reach out, and that's okay. I'm not saying I had flawless game. I'm not saying I need to be liked by every single person. And understand, women will not be available for you. Women will reject you. Women will lose interest in you. There's no dude out there that's batting 100%. There's no dude who's even batting 50% or even 25%. It doesn't work that way. All right, it does not work that way. So as a secure dude, and you can accept that, and girls do start to pull back. You don't go into this crazy fantasy world about what the fuck did I do wrong. You start doing this master plan where you plot out all of this shit. You just sit there and think for a second. Okay, cool. What could I have done better for next time? I guess, right? And then you send the message. That's it, bro. Like literally, that's it. And I didn't ever reach out to this girl again. I never saw her again either. I actually thought I was gonna run into her at some point. Never saw her again for the past like 6 months. So I don't know what happened. All I know is what she missed out on, like literally. And I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to say that in a cocky way. I'm not trying to say that in an egotistical way by any means. Like literally at all. I think she's an amazing girl. For whatever reason, she's not available or not into me that much, and that is totally okay. But I also genuinely, like truly on a deep core level, I genuinely believe if this girl really got to know me a lot more and spent time connecting with me and we actually built something, dude, she would be in love with me. Of course, because again, I know what I bring to the table. All right. And when you can get to that point, when you build yourself up enough and you genuinely believe that in dating and all this stuff, like what I noticed is like, I don't really use like all these fucking tactics anymore. Those tactics are great if you don't know what you're doing, because you need to have some kind of confidence, and you're going to have fake confidence from tactics, right? And that's the external game, or the outer game will then get you enough experiences to build up your inner game. But when you truly have a strong inner game and you genuinely know what you bring to the table, and I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I feel very confident, more than what most men in the world can bring to the table. When a girl pulls back, I'll reach out one more time, but like if it's over at that point, it's over at that point, and that's okay. Like literally, it's okay. Now, if you're dating somebody long-term and they're pulling back, you need to have a talk about this. You need to bring awareness to what do we do in these moments moving forward when you're triggered and you need space, because I want to be able to communicate in these moments. And I notice that you have these tendencies, right? And so you guys need to have a discussion about it, and you need to also get the avoidant to make the decision. You can't force it on them. You need to have a group decision, a group discussion about these things, and allow them to make decisions that are influencing the right behaviors for the both of you guys. That's how you guys could get in sync with that. That's how a secure man would handle a woman pulling away. If you want to become more secure, if you want to build your confidence up, if you want to get more social confidence, get an abundant dating life, and really attract the type of girl you want into your life, I can help you with that. All right. click the button down below. Check out the brand new coaching programs I got going on for 2025. The community is absolutely lit. I also just opened up a brand new one-on-one coaching structure for the guys who want to work with me directly. That's for the high-level dudes only. Do not waste my time if you're not making good money with that one. But that's all for this, guys. Check the links out down below. Peace out. See you in the next one.